Merci beaucoup. Parlez-vous anglais, oui? How the fuck are you guys doing tonight? We are the Blind Heresy. We want to thank you guys for coming out and supporting true fucking metal. So make some noise for your fucking selves.
From the group Divine Heresy and Assassino, and you're watching me on HARDTIMES.CA.
The new album just came out. What's the reaction so far?
The reaction's been amazing. We've been touring all over the United States and all over Europe, and we're getting ready to go to Australia coming up. And I've just been really surprised about the reaction that we've been getting. The kids have been going crazy. We've been selling a lot of merchandise. CD sales have been really good, and I'm really happy to be over here in Canada.
How did you find Tommy Vexed? Tim Young?
Everybody kind of came in different stages. I was jamming with a few other different drummers, and I met Tim Young when he was on tour with Nile in about 2003, 2004, around there. And we kind of kept in touch, and you know, I told him I needed a drummer, and he flew out to LA right away. You know, he's an obvious choice. Amazing drummer. Tommy Vexed was recommended to me by the owner of Century Media. His name is Robert Kampf. He recommended him to me, and he was in a band called Vexed before. And they were based out of New York and stuff like that, and he just had an amazing vocal range. Into the studio and we recorded the album, and we didn't have a bass player then, so my friend Tony Campos from Static X and also Assassino came in, filled in, did some bass tracks with me. But I got this call, it was really weird, from a guy named Joe Payne. I was like, who's Joe Payne? Like, who is this guy? You know, I didn't know who he was. And apparently I hadn't met him, and I gave him my number. And he ended up calling me. It took me a while to remember who he was. And Tim goes, that's the guy from Nile, the bass player from Nile. I'm like, oh shit. So I called him up, and I already knew he was in the band before I even, you know, because he's a great bass player. And here we are today, man. I think we're a great live act, and we're a great support band to a lot of big bands.
Now, tell me, Dino, how come it's taken all this time for you to form a new band that is more, I guess, commercial, or a little more commercial than, let's say, you know, your other band, Assassino, and you know, formerly Heresy. This is your commercial project, a little more commercial than the other ones.
I guess if you compare it to Brujeria or Assassino, yeah, it could be considered commercial, but compared to my previous band, FF, it's a little bit more brutal than that. It took me a long time to put it together just because I wanted to make sure it was right. I wanted to make sure that I had the right musicians, the right, you know, band members that I was going to get along with, and, you know, create something killer. And, you know, I didn't want to settle on just anybody. I wanted to make sure that everybody was just right, and it's just right, you know.
Amazing. How do you feel touring? I mean, this is probably your heaviest touring schedule, personally, in, I guess, a number of years, is it?
I did a lot of touring, a lot in South America. I went to Brazil and Argentina, Chile, you know, all through Mexico. I toured all those places with Brujeria and Assassino. But as far as like in the States, yeah, it's been the first time I did this much touring in the States and Canada and the rest of the world, you know, with Divine Heresy.
How about the LA scene? I mean, how has the LA scene changed since the 90s? The bands you guys used to hang out with, used to relate to?
Back when we came out in the 90s, there was a lot of bands, up-and-coming bands. You know, bands like Korn and Deftones and Cold Chambers and Spine Shank. And there was a whole big scene kind of cropping up, System of a Down. You know, all those bands, you know, went on to do great things, you know. That was a really great era, really great time in my life. You know, hanging out in the scene in Hollywood, and you know, bands like Static X playing free shows at the Roxy and the Troubadour. Every Monday night had free shows, and it was cool, man. You can go there and see like killer bands.
Now, these days, what are some of the bands that you support, that you back?
These days, Suicide Silencer out of California, Riverside, California. Those are really good up and coming band. I think a lot of people know who they are. I really back those guys up a lot.
Your other band, Assassino, put out an album recently.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the making of that album, the label, the philosophy behind it.
Well, when I was in the process of doing the Roadrunner All-Stars, I went into the studio shortly after that to do Assassino Cristo Satanico album. And you know, a lot of people were still in town. Jamie Josta was in town, and Andreas Kitzer was in town, and you know, I basically invited him to come and sing and play guitar on the record. And that was really fun, you know, working with Logan as well. And we just wanted to make sure it was the most brutal album that we did, you know, but at the same time catchy. See, I like writing stuff that's going to be brutal, but it also has to have a hook to it. So anyways, Cristo Satanico is out on my own record label. It's called Audio Records, and there's a MySpace page as well, Audio Records. And and we're going to be doing a new record coming up. Well, an EP, then a new album. EP is going to be called El Beso Negro, which means the black kiss. Where in Mexico, that's a slang for eating ass, like eating the girl's ass. But it can also be used like a maldición, which is like a curse, like the black kiss, like, you know, a witch giving you a black kiss. You know, so it's gonna go both ways. And then we're gonna do the new album, which is gonna be called, I can't say it yet, but it's gonna be killer.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Any final words for the fans, people who are gonna see Divine Heresy in the coming months?
We will be back here in May, first or second week of May, with Arch Enemy. So Divine Heresy will be here again in Montreal.
And also to your fans,
maybe Montreal, Quebec City, somewhere around there.
Right.
Yes, we will be touring all through the States with Arch Enemy, and we will be going to Australia with Killswitch Engage and Azalea 9 and a bunch of bands. And in the summer we'll be doing all the festivals in Europe.
What's your opinion on those burritos?
Horrible. Horrible. Vegetarian burritos. Mexicans don't eat vegetarian burritos. We want carne. We want carne. Carne asada, pollo asada, we want shit like that.
Amazing.
Do you know what that is?
He does.
No, but do you know what that is?
No.
That's exactly why.
Okay. Your favorite restaurants in California, or your favorite types of food?
Well, obviously everybody knows my favorite types of food. It's just Mexican food. There's plenty of restaurants in California, actually little taco shops that are amazing. There's one place on Sunset Strip, it's called El Compadre. It's a really good, like, you know, you go there and you get dinner plates and stuff like that. But if you want like a fast food like tacos or burritos, there's a place in Hollywood, it's on Vine and Melrose, and it's called Cactus. And they make the best tacos, the best sopes, the best burritos. It's really good there. There's another place called Chapalitas, which is in Lincoln Heights. They got the killer tacos and they got the shrimp tacos that are really good.